What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Keeping It Kayfabe podcast. I am Mega Greg,
And I am Dustin Dynamite.
and tonight we are going to discuss some G1, talk about the points, who's got points, who is sucking it up, talk about some Raw and some Dynamite, and I guess a little bit of SmackDown and Rampage, but I didn't watch either, so I can't say much about them.
I do the hard. I watch it so nobody else has to.
That's you know what you're taking one for the team. I appreciate it.
SmackDown was actually pretty good tonight. Dynamite, Rampage, meh.
Well, what happened on since those are fresh? What happened on SmackDown tonight?
Well, there was a great. The main event was great. It was Gunther versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental.
So it was Walter versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes, and it was a great fucking match. It was funny because they were talking about Shinsuke in the like little promo before the match. They were like the king of strong style, and I was like, can you really still call him strong style? Well, that match was very strong style. Like it was very
yeah. That's what Shinsuke should be.
And the crowd chanted, "This is awesome," and they actually were chanting, "This is awesome," because the match was actually awesome. So,
well, the thing is like Shinsuke was a fucking mega star in New Japan.
Yeah, but when I watch him wrestle, he doesn't really exhibit that strong style much anymore. At least
I don't. That's because
I
don't think all those little bitches in WWE want him to.
Well, Gunther, he come from Japan, so I guess he was like, let's fucking put on a strong style match, and that's what they did, and it was a banger.
I'm definitely gonna have to watch it because it sounds amazing.
That was a good match. But really, other than that, like. Scarlett came out and distracted Drew McIntyre, and he got beat up by the Usos, and then they had a match.
What do you think of Karrion Kross with hair?
I think he looks a lot better than when he was bald. Now, I didn't know much about him, but I've gone back and done some research on him since he debuted last week, and yeah, he was kind of goofy looking. He looks like one of those bald guys that shouldn't be bald. I think he looks better with hair.
What I like about Karrion Kross, especially from what I saw from him from NXT, is he looks like someone who would be a badass. Like he looks like a threat, just because of how he carries himself and everything. So yeah, they dropped the ball with him the first time. I guess they're gonna make it right now.
Yeah, I hope Triple H in charge. I mean, you can see it already in the shows that Triple H is making changes, and it'll be interesting to see what really happens when they get through the rest of these storylines that they were building before he took over. But we'll get into that when we talk about Raw.
Well, hopefully NXT will get better and be worth watching again. But I don't know if I can. I don't know if I got the time for another wrestling show.
So honestly. Much wrestling, dude.
I mean, honestly, I will after the G1 is over, because like I told you way back when, once the G1 starts, other wrestling is secondary to me.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important event to me, because it's basically my WrestleMania. So, but speaking of the G1, let's jump into that. So we're gonna go over the points here. I do this all the time on my streams. I always do an update of the points after the like before each match and then after the matches, and usually towards the end of the stream. But mine is going nothing like the actual. Well, actually, it kind of is on some of the blocks, but some of the others it's not. All right, so G1 Climax 32. You're completely caught up, right?
I think I've missed I'm like 1 or 2 days behind, but that's okay. You can spoil.
All right. Well, I mean, the matches are worth watching anyway. You know that.
That's why I say you can spoil.
So Okada's leading the A block with 8 points.
All right.
Lance Archer trails him with 6. Jonah has also got 6. Jeff Cobb has 4. Tom Lawler has 4. Bad Luck Fale has 4. And Toru Yano has 2. So basically Okada's 4-1. Lance Archer and Jonah both lost 2. Cobb has lost 2, but he's still got a couple matches. Tom Lawler's lost 3. Bad Luck Fale's lost 3. And Yano's lost 4.
I think Okada will probably come out of that block.
He is. I think he's actually going to probably beat Lance Archer and tie up that block with the next event. because I think they actually fight on the next one. I know they fight coming up soon. The B block, you got Jay White 4-0 with 8 points.
Yep, that's right.
But right behind him is his rival Tama Tonga, 4-1 with 8 points.
Yeah, they're gonna.
So basically, if Jay wins his next match,
he wins the block.
Yeah, he'll win the block because Tama. I think Tama. I don't know if Tama has another match left or not. Yeah, because they all fight 7 matches. So Sonata was 6, and a 3-2 record with 6 points. Tai Chi 2-2 with 4 points. Chase Owens 2-4 with 4 points. Great Khan 1-4 with 2 points. I thought he won more for some reason.
No, he only won 1. He's lost every other match, but he's had some good matches though.
Yeah, like you were saying, that match with him and Jay White was amazing.
Yeah, he's had some great matches. He just doesn't come out on top.
How do you feel about Okan's style? Because he kind of has a weird style.
I don't know. I like it. I like his, and I like those fucking Mongolian chop things that he does.
You just like the scream he does before he hits him with it. However the fuck he does it. But I can't do it. But you know, Ishii, believe it or not, Ishii is at the bottom of the B block with 1-4 record, 2 points.
I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be upset to not see Tai Chi in the G1 anymore because funny.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you'll still get to see him. He's only had 4 matches, so he's got at least 3 more.
Well, good.
C block has Zack Sabre Jr. leading with 8 points with a 4-1 record. Hiroshi Tanahashi 3-2 with 6 points. Naito's 3-2 with 6 points. Goto was 3-2 with 6 points.
That's gonna be a tight block. Watch. That's
yeah.
At the end, they're all gonna.
I think Naito's gonna finish it out though. I think it's gonna come down to him and Zack Sabre Jr.
That should be a banger of a match.
Oh yeah, but also Evil has 4, 2 and 3. Kenta 1-3 with 2 points. That's a fucking travesty right there.
Poor Kenta.
And Aaron Henare 1-4. Do you watch the backstage stuff with Kenta?
Yeah, how he sits on the ground and he's always like talking to the.
Always calls that cameraman fat and says every time he comes to an event he loses.
And he always has that fucking book.
Oh yeah, he's promoting his book, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could read a Japanese book like that with it being backwards. It would be so weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really understand the language, I think, to be able to do that.
I mean, all it does is reads from
right to
left to right
left I remember we had a Japanese exchange student when I was in middle school, and he was always reading books, and I was just like, I'd look at his books and just be like, what the fuck?
So, who do you think? All right, so you think Okada's going to take the A block?
Yeah, Okada will take the A block. Jay White's definitely getting the B block.
You think so? You think it's not going to be Tama Tonga? You think Jay White's going to win?
I mean, I would love it to be Tama Tonga, but it's going to be Jay White. I mean, I got Jay White winning the whole thing, just like you. So
that's what I kind of think is going to happen too. Because out of all the people left who could win it, the only other one that would be a Gaiju would be David Finlay. So either David Finlay, Zack Sabre Jr., or Jay White.
Yeah, but I think you're right about the C block too. I think Naito will probably come out of that one. I don't know. It's going to be, or they might pull some like unpredictable stuff with them keeping it as close as it is in that block. So
I think this is Naito's redemption G1. So I think Naito is definitely going to come out on top. Because I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to not make him win the block, especially since Zack Sabre Jr. put him out, and that's probably who he's going to have to face. But last year, so it'll end up being probably Naito versus David Finlay in the C and D block for the semis.
So you think Finlay's going to come out the D block? So you didn't say the standings for the D block.
Oh yeah, so D block is David Finlay is 4-1 with 8 points. Yujiro Takahashi is 3-2 with 6 points. I did not realize he was that high in the D block.
Yeah, me neither.
So I guess my universe mode G1 is accurate then, because Yujiro leads with 10 points in that one.
There you go.
Yoshihashi 2-4 with 4 points. You've actually been impressed with Yoshihashi.
Yeah, I like Yoshihashi.
He puts on some good matches,
He
man.
does put on some good matches. I haven't been disappointed with any of his matches.
My friend at work, Jay, hates his guts, though. He has an undying hatred for Yoshihashi.
Well, he also loves AEW, so
This is also true. Shingo Takagi 2-2 with 4 points. That's a big shocker.
yeah,
Will Ospreay 2-2 with 4 points. Juice
another big
Robinson
shocker.
2-3 with 4 points. El Phantasmo 1-4 with 2 points at the bottom of the D
I didn't
block.
realize that until the other day that El Phantasmo does commentary sometimes. Didn't realize that was him.
Oh,
'Cause
he's great on it. I
and
love him on
there's always
commentary.
some guy with Kevin Kelly. I was like watching it, and I'm like, and there's some guy always talking shit. And I'm like, who is this guy that's always talking shit about the wrestlers? And then I realized I was texting you actually when I was watching the match, and I was like, oh, that's fucking ELP. Like I realized, like Kevin Kelly said something to him, and I realized who it was, and I was like, oh fuck, that's ELP. Well, that makes it even better. I thought he was just some like rando, like retired guy that was just talking shit about all the old wrestlers or all
Oh,
the
no.
wrestlers that are still doing it.
ELP's a dickhead, too. That's why I like him.
Yeah, he was. They had a shot of him. He was like sitting next to Kevin Kelly, eating like pizza, drinking a beer, and like wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
That's what was funny to me is that they were doing the show and they were eating pizza the whole time.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
fuck yeah, give me that job.
All right, so before we jump out of New Japan here, because there's not a whole lot to be said other than just watch the G1 because it's epic matches every single night. But you did want to talk about the epic match between Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi.
It delivered. It was everything I thought it would be, man. Like when I saw that on the card, I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot wait for this match!" And it fucking delivered. It was a banger. Probably I think it's probably my favorite match so far of the G1.
It was very good. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I like it more than him versus El Phantasmo
ELP.
just because of how fast paced that match was.
That one was good too, though. The pacing in that match was
but it was damn good. It was far better than most anything else I've seen recently. I'll say that.
yeah.
I did want to ask you one other thing because I think we've talked about this in the our group chat, but I don't know if we talked about it on the show about how horribly AEW did Zack Sabre Jr. and how you've actually got to see the real Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan.
I mean, honestly, they kind of did all of the New Japan guys besides Will Ospreay. Kind of, they didn't give you their full potential.
Yeah, because you remember whenever we watched Forbidden Door, I told you that was a waste of Shingo.
Yeah, waste
And
of
now
Shingo.
and now you understand why.
And he's like one of my favorites now. And yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. I was not impressed with. I was like, okay.
Like,
Everyone like you
okay,
hype this dude up, and I'm like, all right. I mean, I was like, he's all right, but he's nothing like he's not somebody that impresses me that much. And like you were saying, even Lance Archer is better in New Japan than he is in AEW. He gets wasted there.
So my question is like, do you think these guys? Do you think it's just the booking only in AEW, or do you think AEW kind of keeps these guys on a leash?
It's either that, or maybe even it's the wrestlers themselves that didn't want to put their full potential into AEW, where they could get hurt, possibly get hurt, and then not be ready for the G1 that was coming up.
I honestly think when I see Lance Archer over there in New Japan, he seems like he's having so much more fun than he does on AEW. So
I mean, and he gets wasted on it. He gets buried because there's so many people on the roster there that he ends up becoming this side piece guy that he's just a big burly badass.
Oh, look, he's a big bat. That's the story in general though, with a lot of AEW. Oh, here's a badass. You should like him just because he's a badass.
Yeah, because he's big and strong. Woo.
He's a wrestler, and you should already know everything about him. So
we do need to cover one more thing before we leave the G1. So where do you think they're going with the interactions lately between Jay White and Will Ospreay?
See, this is where it gets. This is why I think maybe Jay White is going to win the G1. I think either because Will Ospreay can't win it. He's mathematically eliminated.
Right.
So I think maybe they're trying to build it so that Jay White wins, and since he'll be able to pick his challenger, maybe he's going to pick Will Ospreay, and that would be your main event at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh man,
that would be whew.
That would be amazing.
Oh,
I would stay up late to watch that for sure.
And like the past couple years at Wrestle Kingdom, they basically had 2 title matches. Like the champions had to defend the title 2 times.
Now, do you think they would drop that? They would make Will Ospreay would drop the belt before his U.S. title before he would fight for that belt, or
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make Will Ospreay be like a belt collector.
I mean, he is the belt collector, so
he's got that Rev Pro. He's got that U.S. championship.
And we will get to see Will Ospreay next week on Rampage or on Dynamite.
Oh yeah, he's part of that trios tournament, so that should be good.
Him and Aussie Open, and
so that means this dude is flying to the U.S. to fucking do this event, and then he's got to fly back to New Japan to do the fucking.
He actually wrestles in the U.S. a lot more than you'd think. He did an event like the week, or like actually I think it was a couple days before the G1 started. He did an event in like Michigan. Like
I bet his frequent flyer miles are through the roof.
Oh, I'm sure. They're going to be facing the Triangle, I think, that the Dark Triangle, which is
Death Triangle with
Death Triangle, yeah.
Pac and the Lucha Bros.
Yep, Pac will be in the United States with the belt, that we haven't seen in weeks.
Oh, it's about fucking time. That's all right, because you know who holds that belt in the WWE universe? That's me right here. This guy, my character. Yeah. He's the fucking All-Atlantic champion.
That's right, motherfuckers. Don't forget it.
Submitted Pac with his own move.
Bitch.
All right, moving on to Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
So we got the show open with like a recap of that Bayley, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, oh my, fucking Becky Lynch bullshit.
Do they have a name for that faction yet, or are they just?
I don't know. I don't even care about it. That's the sad part. I'm happy all 3 of those people are back, but I don't like what they're doing with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously building towards Bayley versus Bianca Belair, so just build that.
Are they in that? I think they are. They're in the Dakota Kai and Io Sky are in the tag team tournament. Yeah. Then they won their match.
Is Bayley hot or is she ugly?
Bayley looks like a teacher, like a teacher I would have in high school. That's what she looks like to me.
A teacher, especially with that new hair.
I mean, she's alright, but she's it's like
she's got a big badunkadunk.
She does have a big badunkadunk, but like I said, she looks like a teacher or like a mom.
But yeah, basically they just followed up with that. A whole bunch of fucking people came out and they started all talking about this fucking tag thing that's coming up. So promoting that by showing you all the women who's going to be in it in one fucking segment.
Which I'm excited to see Nikita Lyons not on NXT and actually on TV.
I don't even know who that is.
I'll send you some stuff.
All right. Next we have Seth freaking Rollins versus Angelo Dawkins.
Yep. He got his shot.
You know what? Like, we were talking about how Montez Ford is obviously the more talented of those two, but this wasn't a bad match, man.
No, people sleep on Angelo Dawkins. He's not bad. He's just not. If you compare him to Montez Ford, there's no comparing the two because they have different styles. They're different types of wrestlers, different builds. But he's a good wrestler, too. He just gets put in the background.
Yeah, Seth ended up winning that match, of course. Let's see. We had a backstage thing with The Miz and Ciampa talking about the shit later. Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. Did you see the segment where Kevin Owens just beat the fucking shit out of Ezekiel?
Yeah, and they had to take him out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Was that even a match, or did he just come out and beat his ass?
He just came out and beat his ass. It was a no contest. Yeah. And then they had that weird stuff in the back with like when he was
So
leaving
this
out.
so this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I was what I loved is they were interviewing Kevin Owens in the back about what just happened. But in the background there was a car wrecked into the wall, and a bunch of the other wrestlers were kind of like trying to figure out like what happened with this car. Why is this car here? Who was in here?
Yeah,
And
it
they were
was.
like, it was weird.
So
So
I mean, we ultimately ended up finding out what it was, or I guess I don't really know.
yeah, so then they had another segment after that where they were talking to some of the women, and you saw a bunch of security guys run by, and then at the end of the show, you saw that it was the return of Dexter Loomis,
Dexter Loomis, a guy who
which
you have no idea who the fuck he is.
I have no idea who he is, but the little foreshadowing and the kind of Easter egg kind of stuff, I guess you could call it, was very reminiscent of the Attitude Era kind of stuff, storytelling.
Well, let me explain to you about Dexter Loomis. All right, Dexter Loomis is an NXT guy, and his gimmick is basically like he's like a weirdo, like he has this fucking cold stare that he does on everybody.
Yeah.
Like they did this whole thing in NXT to where like he was terrorizing Johnny Gargano, like he would just keep appearing and like staring at him,
Yeah, that's kind of what he
like
was
from
doing
behind.
on
Yeah.
the show at the end of the show.
So he's like his gimmick is, I guess, he's a crazy person. So
And he doesn't talk, right? I heard he never speaks.
yeah, I don't think he's spoken, but I will say that he's good in the ring. Like he's not bad. His style is pretty decent. And he does have the Stranger Things theme as his entrance music, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
It,
interested.
it's it's
I'm in.
not it's not actually the Stranger Things theme, but it sounds very fucking close to it.
Well, it's stuff like that that makes me look forward to watching Raw again. That's kind of what I miss about wrestling nowadays, and I only kind of get that from New Japan now. It's like, okay, I watch an episode, but I'm not like that crazy looking forward to the next week. But like this week, I'm like, oh, I'm interested in where this is gonna go. Like, where is this going? Plus, the quality of wrestling has already been better on Raw and SmackDown.
The quality of the wrestling has been better. However, they're still giving us stuff we don't care about, like Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
I really think they're gonna clean those storylines once they get through those storylines. Instead, I guess they're just not gonna scrap them because you don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot more. I think we'll see better stuff once we get through these storylines.
All that really happened in that match was Finn Balor won. After the match, Ripley and Balor stand tall over Dominic backstage because like she like pulled Dominic out and he was all like beat up and shit. So at some one point during the match, it was weird.
Yeah, she beat
I
his
kind of
up
think
bad.
that they're gonna do some angle to where Dominic turns on his dad and joins them or some shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what everybody thinks, that he's gonna join the Judgment Day.
We had a women's tag team tournament match qualifier: Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Tamina and Dana Brooke.
And Kai
And
and Sky won.
Kai and Sky won. Kai and Sky.
Kai and Sky Pie.
Kai Sky. Kai Sky Sky. All right, Bobby Lashley versus Tommaso Ciampa for the United States Championship.
This was a good match. I actually did watch this match.
It was a good match. It was actually very good because they're finally giving Ciampa the credit he deserves.
Yeah, well, they finally got somebody that backs him up. So
I kind of wished he would have beat Lashley, but I understand why he didn't.
yeah, I
Just got
kind of
build
thought
on
maybe
him,
they
so.
might do it, but it makes sense to not do it and don't push him too hard, too fast. No reason to do that.
But yeah, Bobby Lashley ends up getting the win on that one with the Hurt Lock.
The Hurt Lock.
Then we had a segment with Omos and Andrea Guercio.
So I'm looking at the results right now, and it says Omos versus two jobbers.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. He versus two jobbers and he won.
Squash match, basically.
Dolph Ziggler versus Chad Gable was just whatever. No
I
one gives
don't.
a shit.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but okay,
Dolph
whatever.
Ziggler won.
Good job,
Now
Dolph.
the main event was actually a really fucking good match. It was AJ Styles versus The Miz. We've seen it
Oh yeah,
before, but it was a good match, man. Even though we've seen it before, it's still proved to be good. This time it was no DQ though, so
no DQ. Yeah, it was a very good match, and we had the appearance at the end there with Dexter Loomis, and the cops came and grabbed him, and
yeah, and arrested him. And
he did his
he
little
was
stare.
staring at AJ Styles, so
Yeah, so that'll
I
be
guess that
interesting to
means he
see.
wants to fuck him.
No, he wants to fight him, not fuck him.
Oh, okay.
Fight
Well, I mean, it looked like a look of lust, not a look of.
him.
I'm just saying.
Maybe he's in love with him.
Maybe that's what
Never
that
know.
stare means that he does to everybody. Maybe he just wants to fuck them.
Maybe it's his fuck stare.
The sex eyes. We talked about this in the past.
Yeah,
Those are the
maybe
sex eyes.
that's his sex eyes.
Ah,
Weird
there we
sex
go.
eyes, but okay.
Scary sex eyes.
But overall, Raw was pretty good. You can definitely tell the difference in WWE with Triple H in charge.
It's getting better. It's definitely getting better.
Yeah. Like
All
I said,
right.
I get more and more looking forward to watching WWE.
Well, Dynamite is your thing, so
All right,
talk about it.
let's get into it. So we get our very first match is a coffin match between Darby Allin and Brody King.
Yes, it was.
Much like Darby Allin matches, it was basically a spot fest and lots of blood. He hit the avalanche on him within 2 minutes of the match starting. The lamest, probably one of the lamest things I've seen in AEW so far was the announcer reaction to Sting appearing out of the coffin. They literally lost their fucking minds. They were like,
and why?
It's Sting! Oh my god, it's Sting! Like we don't see Sting pop out every fucking time Darby Allin's in a match.
Or in trouble in some way.
Right. He's always right there. It's like they replaced, since JR started the show off, it's like they replaced our special treat of JR with our special treat of Sting in the first match.
you should feel privileged because you got to see Sting.
Okay, cool. Brody King ended up.
Oh, by the way, a Sting with new face paint.
Yeah, so I was going to get into that. So Sting appears, and then the House of Black appears. But what I wanted to talk about was Sting's face paint had the House of Black thing on his eye. So, do you think they're hinting at something?
No, I don't. I think it's just Sting's. He got sprayed in the face with fucking Malachi Black's mist, so now he's doing the fucking eye thing too.
Like Julia Hart was?
Pretty much, yeah.
But Julia Hart joined the House of Black, so do you think that could happen, or do you think AEW would just be like, "Oh, we're just going to paint his face like that. We don't do anything."
I would like if they were creative enough to do that, but do I think that they are? No.
Yeah.
If anything, they should make Darby Allin join the House of Black. That would be the best thing for him.
Oh, Darby Allin ends up winning the match.
Finally, he won a match.
He finally wins a match. He chokes Brody King with his own chain.
I'm going to say I fucking hated this finish, by the way.
And then he falls directly into the coffin that's set up perfectly for him to fall from being hung from the top.
Don't leave out the fact that he fell into the coffin that he set up like that earlier.
Yeah.
Not Darby Allin, but Brody King.
Yeah.
So
I also wanted to talk about,
he moves it in place for him to fall into it later.
I've realized I don't really like very violent matches.
Me neither.
These
I've
bloody,
lost the taste for them.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like them, and that's your thing. But I don't know. When I see a lot of blood and shit now, I'm just like Brody King was bleeding profusely from his fucking head.
Here's the problem, man, is that Jim Cornette talked about this on his podcast once. it's fine to use blood in matches sometimes when it means something. But when you're doing it every fucking match or every other match multiple times a week, it doesn't mean anything anymore. At that point, it's not a big deal that someone got busted open because it happens every fucking week to
Yeah,
somebody.
it's like the AEW and thumbtacks for a while. Like it was like there was at least one match every week that had thumbtacks in it. It's like, okay, thumbtacks are like something you pull out in a pay-per-view and it's like a big surprise. You don't do it
Exactly.
every fucking
But they think,
match.
oh, this is a thing that was awesome on the pay per view. Let's just give it to him for free.
And Darby Allin, I mean, his skateboard had fucking thumbtacks all over the bottom of it, which is why Brody King was split the fuck open in the first minute of the match. And he
I
was
don't.
dripping blood everywhere, and it was all over fucking Darby Allin. It was just, I don't know, just
I don't understand with the amount of injuries that they're getting lately, why they wouldn't tone back some of the hardcore bullshit.
I don't know. It's AEW. All right, so after that, we got a match that was actually really good. I enjoyed it. Anyways, was a tornado tag match between the Lucha Brothers and Rush and Andrade.
I watched this match because you told me that I should. Even though at points it was kind of a clusterfuck because it was a tornado tag match. But I do have comments about Rush and Penta both.
All right, let's hear
So
it.
my comment that I have about Rush, I wrote this down on my phone so I wouldn't forget it. Rush looks like that Mexican you don't want to party with because he gets too crazy. Like,
Yeah.
like the party's going well, and then Rush comes in. You're like, "Fuck, man, we should probably wrap this up, dude."
Yeah.
Every time he shows up,
He's like the cartel member that's going
he
to end
always
up
wants to
like
fight
blowing somebody's head
somebody,
off.
or
Yeah, definitely.
and the only thing I said about Penta is he changed his fucking name again.
He changes his name like every couple months.
It's annoying because you know what I have to do? I have to go change it on fucking Universe now.
He changes his name as much as he loses his mask in matches, which is every match.
Yeah, but Rush just looks like a dude you wouldn't want to fuck with to me.
Yeah,
He looks mean.
he does. It's the hair. It's the hair how it flies around every
Oh yeah.
running
Well,
around
I
the
don't know
ring.
if you noticed neither, but he fights strong style. Like his chops and his hits are hard.
Everything he does is like 110%.
And
Yeah,
dude, that fucking move that he does, that bullhorns move, that's that drop kick in the corner. My God. I actually, when he did that, I actually went, oh, because it was bad, man. I was like, oh, it looked like you got a whiplash.
yeah, that
Fucking
was
Ray Phoenix.
probably the best match of the night, honestly. And then after that, we had a segment with the Young Bucks, and they tried to get Adam Page to join them for the trios tournament, and Adam Page turned them down.
He did. He said that he's going to stick with the Dark Order and back them up because, you know, they were there for him when the Young Bucks weren't.
Yep. So, do you think this is a way of kind of going from turning the Young Bucks face and then turning them immediately back heel?
I hope this is a way for them to finally turn the Dark Order into heels again, which they should be because they're called the fucking Dark Order.
But they're goofy, though. They're all goofy. I don't
They
get
don't
it.
have to be.
Like John Silver is goofy.
I like John Silver, but I like the goofy stuff, but I like Dark Order better when they were still kind of goofy, but they were still like
dark goofy.
Dark, yeah. They still had a plan that you thought, or they had a plan they were putting in motion, but now they're just fucking clowns.
So, do you think the Young Bucks turn back heel now, though? Would this was a way to get them back to not have them have to be faces for too long?
I hope so because I hate face. I don't really care for the face Young Bucks, but
I mean, we don't have heels in AEW anyway, so I mean,
yeah, that's true. There's no such thing as a heel.
All right.
Actually, no, there is because they did boo Rush and Andrade Elio or whatever the fuck his name is, Elito.
Yeah.
So Andrade they were heels. Flair. They were true heels. They got booed.
I'm shocked. Let's see. Then we had Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh and Sanjay go to the ring and cut a promo about Wardlow and tell Wardlow to come, that they wanted one more shot at the belt or whatever. And then FTR came out with Wardlow.
Oh, you skipped over the Luchasaurus segment.
Did I miss that one?
Yeah, the Jungle Boy came out right after
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Young Bucks
did miss.
thing.
Yeah, Jungle Boy came out after the Young Bucks thing. Luchasaurus had another squash match, which I don't understand the how they're keeping him. They like changed to this black heel Luchasaurus, immediately turned him back face, but kept his heel gimmick. So
Have they really turned him face though? All they did was made him.
I mean, he's back with Jungle Boy, but I guess there's still potential for him to turn again. It's probably just lazy shit from AEW with them not
Especially
using
since after the match, Christian Cage appears backstage clapping for Luchasaurus. So.
Yeah, but then that breaks out into like a fight backstage.
Yeah, Jungle Boy attempts to attack him, but security holds him back.
And Christian gets away. And then
Julia Hart, after this, Julia Hart attempted to recruit Miro to the House of Black.
Oh, was the Miro thing after that too? I guess I missed that. It's not on here, but yeah. So she she grabs his beard and he's like only one woman's allowed to touch the Redeemer.
And you are not that woman.
And he looks like he's not going to join the House of Black. He's going to fight them. So his God told them. His God told him that the House of Black is to be fought. So he will be
Miro's fighting for the good guys.
The House of Black. Okay. Then we had the Wardlow thing.
Yeah.
Satnam Singh came out and started beating on him. Then we had the FTR come out and help save Wardlow, and they cleared the ring of the heels and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't mind this feud between Wardlow and Jay Lethal because at least he's not just squashing people now. But I don't know. It's
Jay Lethal's good, so I mean it'll at least be entertaining.
Cuts good promos. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that big giant fucking Indian guy.
He is a big motherfucker.
Yeah. He's like 7'4", I think. All right, then we had Ricky Starks versus Aaron Solo, who I don't really know who Aaron Solo is, but
no one does, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. So Ricky Starks ended up winning that match. Wasn't really.
They called him Aaron Solo because this is the first and last time you will ever see this motherfucker. It's a solo appearance.
I would love Ricky Starks to get a better push. I really hope that they're gonna start doing more with him. But
yeah, he's good, man. He's good all around. So
he's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. He's still young.
You know what's funny is we're going through all this bullshit just to get to the end, which is the only thing anybody cares about.
It wasn't even the best match, honestly. And then we had that bitch, my girl,
Jade Cargill.
Who is that bitch? Just so you know,
going against Madison Rayne, which I did not know Madison Rayne was a part of.
Yeah, she's so she had a match.
Madison Rayne is good, man. Like back in the day, she was awesome. She had like really good princess gimmick. Cool music, and plus she was hot. She still is. I mean, honestly.
It was actually a good match because Jade Cargill's pretty much just had squash matches up to this point. She actually had to wrestle in this match. Some people were talking shit about her wrestling ability, but Cargill, people forget that she's only been wrestling for like 2 years. So, I mean,
yeah,
she's not, and honestly, like the competition that she's up against, this is really, honestly, if you think about it, probably the first real wrestler that she's faced, a real experienced wrestler anyways. But
well, we had some. She ended up winning the match, but we did have something happen after the match.
Yeah, Athena, who was disguised as a baddie, attacked
as
her.
one of the baddies. She was disguised as a baddie.
And yeah, so and they've kind of been building that for a while now. So I'm curious if Athena's gonna be the one to beat her. I think it was
probably so.
I think it was going to be Statlander, but she is hurt, unfortunately. I think she tore her ACL. I know it's something with her knee, and she's going to be out for like a significant amount of time.
Well, after that match followed the AEW Interim World Championship match. Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho. The Lionheart. Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho. And he was doing all the Lionheart stuff. So I said this wasn't the best match of the night, but it was a good match. Of course, Moxley started bleeding within 30 seconds of the match because, dude can't ever wrestle with a face. It was a good match, good back and forth.
It was a decent match. It wasn't horrible, but once again, we got blood fucking less than 2 minutes into the match.
I did notice, though, and I don't know if a lot of people notice this because a lot of times when it goes picture in picture, I kind of stop paying attention because it's like little picture. But for some reason, I was watching it, I guess, because I was invested in the match. And basically, Jericho holds Moxley in the walls of Jericho for the entire commercial segment. They never did anything else. He just held him in that the whole time.
So, I don't know if you noticed this. I'm pretty sure you had to have. The finish of this match was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Did you see the segment to where they were on the ground and it was almost like they were confused and they didn't know what to do with each other?
Yeah.
With the submission stuff. I'm like, what are they fucking doing? I was like, these guys are both professionals. This shouldn't be happening.
Well, Jericho put him in what's the modified version of the sharpshooter thing?
It's the elevated. They call it the lion tamer. It's the elevated walls of Jericho.
Yeah. And then he reverses the lion tamer, and then he goes for another, like, I don't know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was weird. It looked weird, and the recovery from it wasn't good. Like, they kind of just hit a standstill. It's like they were confused as to who was going to lead to get him out of this shit.
And honestly, I was like, I thought the finish was stupid. I was like, all that to just for Jericho to just get choked out was just
and tap.
I was like, all right, whatever. And
so your winner and still interim AEW World Champion Jon Moxley.
But wait. We can't ever have an ending to AEW without a run out, though.
Oh, yeah, because after the match, Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager attacked Moxley. Then Claudio, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, fucking all the Jericho Appreciation Society, some other guys from the back room who didn't even need to come out, but they did anyway. Everybody fucking came out. Everybody.
But then we get the return of fucking CM Punk.
It is about fucking time. Because, God,
please save AEW right now because I'm this close to like not watching it anymore.
Dude, I was texting you when I was watching it. And actually, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the text that I sent to you because it's kind of funny. I think I sent that as an actual text. Where the fuck is it? I know it was something along the lines of like, it's like I'm about to turn this shit off.
Yeah. Well, I said.
Oh yeah, right here. I was like, if Excalibur mentions Mexico one more fucking time, I'm turning this shit off. I forget which match it was during.
Yeah, I think it was probably during the. The freaking Andrade match.
No, it wasn't. It was during the Jericho match because he kept talking about how Jericho's wrestled in Mexico and Moxley hasn't. And he said it like fucking 20 times.
It was.
Because that's what it was. I'm like, if he mentions Mexico one more fucking time, I'm turning this shit off because it was driving me nuts. And he told me don't turn it off, just mute it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is me watching the end of that match. I said, man, AEW is so dumb. That was while Jericho was getting choked out, and I knew he was going to tap. And then the run out happened, and I said, can you guess what happens at the end of the title match? And then I said, never mind. I take back what I said. The end was awesome, but only because CM Punk came back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason why. And him and Moxley, they do a standoff in the ring, and they flip each other off. Well, actually, Moxley just flipped him off, right?
Yeah, Moxley flipped him off and walked away. So hopefully, I am looking forward to seeing what happens when Punk comes back. And from what I've gathered, is that Punk's foot is not actually 100%. So I don't
He's
think
hopping around on it though.
we'll see him in action until All Out, which is okay with me.
Yeah, that's fine as long as he's on TV.
As long as he's on TV and they're doing a build for the match, I'll be interested to see where this goes with Mox though, because Mox has pretty much just cut promos since he got that belt about how much he loves wrestling and how he'll die for it and how tough he is.
And how he'll fight anybody.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, all right, well, now it's time for you guys to like actually show your skills on the mic. So hopefully, because I was thinking Jericho should win the belt because it would be a better back and forth between him and Punk because both of them can be on the mic. Both of them are good on the mic.
But I understand why they didn't do it because, like I told you, Mox and CM Punk is a more intriguing thing right now because they, you know, Mox is gonna be like a anti-hero kind of deal in this horror deal, or maybe they'll make Punk that way. I wish they would do Punk that way, but
they might. But I think if the rumors are true about MJF, they'll probably keep Punk as a face.
What are the rumors about MJF?
That he's gonna return after All Out, or at All Out, or after All Out.
At All Out. What about Kenny Omega? What's our status on him?
They're saying November for him, so
we
could see September though. I mean, he could make it.
Before we head out of here, there's two things I want to ask you about.
Right.
Lately, you have not been very happy with AEW fans.
Yeah, it's because, and especially if you're so I run our TikTok, and so if you're active on Wrestle Talk, we call it, you can't ever fucking say anything bad about AEW. And it's like, I like AEW. I watch it every week, and I don't watch it because I have to. I watch it because I actually like the product. But I'm not afraid to sit here and say that this was trash, or this wasn't good, or like there was a whole fucking debacle about the Rampage match between Moxley and Mance Raider, or whatever the fuck his name is.
And that's the problem, man. I understand people are excited. There's a new wrestling company that's trying to battle WWE and stuff like that. But they're not fucking perfect, and they make a lot of mistakes. And you got to point out those mistakes, or they're just going to keep happening, and the company's going to flop.
And it's okay to say something bad about the company.
Maybe they'll fix it then. It's called constructive criticism.
Yeah, I'm not even bashing it. It's just like there's some stuff that just doesn't make sense, like fucking Moxley fighting that fucking no-name dude that won a battle royal in the Ric Flair's last match that not that many people watched, and people were like, well, who the fuck is this guy and why should I care? And everyone's like, it's fucking do-do-do-do-do. You should just Google it. No, I shouldn't have to you should never have to Google a wrestler fighting in a championship fucking match.
There is also something else that really bothers you about the AEW fans.
What's that?
That they will chant, "This is awesome" for fucking anything. They'll chant, "This is awesome" for JR coming out for commentary.
I mean, there was probably 3 "This is awesome" chants on Dynamite. You know how many "This is awesome" chants I heard this week on the WWE product?
One.
And it was fucking garnered, because that's definitely the best match I've seen this week besides Ospreay and Shingo. So definitely go back and watch SmackDown. But yeah, I mean, just like chill out, man. Like, I get it. Yes, it's exciting. That's why I like AEW, because it's something different. It's exciting. But dude, they fucking make a lot of mistakes. The show is a shit show half the time. Rampage doesn't make any sense. And
that's my biggest issue with the AEW product, because I'm definitely, like, if people want to complain about how critical you are of it, then they don't want my fucking thoughts, because I'm very critical of it. And it's all deserving, man, because they fuck up a lot. They do a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. I've been watching wrestling for fucking over 30 years, so I know I'm not going to go out and call myself a fucking expert because I'm not. You know, I haven't ever worked in the business or anything like that. But I generally know how it works just from my time watching it.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I know what's good and I know what's not good. I can typically predict where it's going, how they should do an angle. I even sometimes do my own fantasy bookings.
right.
But it's you got to do stuff that makes sense, man, because the dropping a storyline fucking 1 week after you start one, throwing together random matches that don't fucking make sense. You're not going to bring in like hardcore fans that way. You're just going to continue to have nothing but the mark fans that
Marks and you'll turn away casuals too, because casuals aren't going to watch people that, like I was saying, like the Moxley Mance match. Nobody knew who that fucking guy was. I did not care about that match, and you know what? I didn't watch it because I didn't know who it was, and I don't give a fuck.
the thing is they need to understand is you chant this is awesome for a match that you're going to remember and tell your friends, man, you gotta watch this fucking match. A match that might actually live up, you know, that people come back and watch 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road. A
Yeah.
lot of these matches that are getting these chants in AEW don't deserve it.
Or it's like, right, or you know, maybe if the match is like a good back and forth or something, like the women's match last week, like they chanted this is awesome for that, because I mean the match was a good match. I mean, I don't know if it needed an awesome chant, but it was a good back and forth match. It was intense, and you were like, you didn't know who was going to win, so I could see it then. But there's a lot of times where it's just like, okay, calm down, AEW fans, calm down. It's not that great.
When I watch them in the crowd, like when I just like pay attention to the fans, I just get mad. they they're so invested, and I don't
I
understand
mean, there's
why.
some people on TikTok now that are so AEW like where I just go because I don't care. I don't want to hear what they want to say because their opinion is way too biased. It's like, okay, I don't care. It's not that great. It's good. It's good. I watch it every week, but I don't. The thing about AEW is I don't. There's rarely a time where I'm like, man, I can't wait for Dynamite. Can't wait to see what's going to happen on Dynamite this week. Now this week I am because Punk came back, but it's been
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be more interested now that Punk came back.
it's been a long time since I was anticipating a Dynamite. So,
And you know what? In AEW's defense, I will say that they do have a lot of their star power out on injury, so that is hurting them. But at the same time, just start building somebody else. Don't just fucking do shit that doesn't make sense because you don't have your stars.
but it's like, let me read that quote from Jim Cornette that I sent you today. It was fucking spot on. He said, God, we talk a lot on this thing.
Yeah, we do.
Talking about the interim title. He's got one of the biggest names in professional wrestling, CM Punk, as your AEW champion. He gets an injury, so instead of stripping him of the belt, you decide to create an interim champion with the thought when Punk is ready to go that they will reunite those titles. That's a surefire story in any kind of combat sport. Can't miss fucking angle, and they missed it.
Yep.
And they did, because they put the title up every fucking week against nobodies.
Daniel Garcia and fucking some guy you've never heard of that fought Ric Flair once. And
Yeah, exactly.
you know what? I'm with you on this, dude. Those fucking fans that want to go on and talk about, oh, go watch the indie stuff. Because people say that to me about Danhausen. They're like, oh, well, go watch him wrestle and you'll change your mind. No, I won't, because I don't fucking care to even go watch his old shit.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I like Danhausen, but I like Danhausen because I've watched him on AEW now. When I first saw him, I was just kind of like, well, this guy's weird. But I didn't go Google him because I didn't care that much. But I do like him now because they built him up.
I go and Google a wrestler that I find interesting.
Yeah.
That's what I go and Google. Like when I first learned about Kenny Omega, I went down that rabbit hole, man. I was like, ooh, I want to go watch some of this dude's older stuff. And I did. Some of it I was kind of like, okay, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he wrestling a sex doll? But, you know, we'll ignore all of that.
They do some weird shit.
Why is he wrestling a 10-year-old girl?
And, you know, they could have, and the Mance guy, they could have put that guy in a match in AEW that wasn't for a belt. And nobody would have said shit. They do that all the time with people in AEW. They get them from Impact and AAA and stuff and put them in matches That's how you build somebody. You don't fucking say, "Hey, this guy is fucking fighting for the interim AEW title." Like, what the fuck?
This is what they need to do, honestly. They need to have ROH as like their developmental company, like NXT is to WWE.
Yeah,
Move all those guys who aren't quite ready to be on Dynamite yet. Throw those motherfuckers in ROH. Let them build themselves up, become something decent. Then you bring them over to Dynamite.
they'd have to get another TV deal for that. I don't know. Would their ratings?
You just scrap Rampage and you make that ROH.
I mean, they could do that, honestly.
Or you just make ROH their exclusively online show like they do with Dark.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do it. They got the fucking money. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, they have unlimited money.
All right, well, that's all I really got to say about.
No chat this week, man.
I know. Well, I mean, we're on kind of late, and it is Friday, so.
I mean, we still usually get people in the chat. It's weird, but all right. Well, if there's nothing else, then keep it kayfabe.
That's right. We'll see you next time.